Hi, I'm John Delano, political editor at KDKA TV, and we are with Professor Jerry Dickinson, a Pitt law professor who is running for Congress in the 18th Congressional District in the Democratic primary against Congressman Mike Doyle. Professor, nice to have you with me here today.
Hi, John. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
So let me ask you, sir, you have a very unique personal history, a background that I think is unusual for a lot of folks. Would you tell us, first of all, a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I came up out of the Allegheny County foster care system back in the 1980s, bounced around to some shelters at a very early age, and then landed at a large foster home out in Shaler Township. Now, when I say large, it wasn't a mansion. It was a single-story, a little ranch house, large in terms of the number of foster kids. There were 11 kids all together from all walks of life, Black kids and white kids that came together. The couple, Robert and Judy Dickinson, an amazing people. They were McKeesport. They grew up in McKeesport. They moved to Shaler, had 2 kids of their own, and then decided to open up their home as an emergency foster shelter. And so 11 kids came in. 3 went back to their original parents, and then the remaining 8 were adopted over a 10-year span of time. We came from backgrounds of trauma, malnourishment, maltreatment, domestic violence. Some of our parents were incarcerated. Some of our parents were addicts. And so I come from a unique background in my entire adulthood life has also been intimately associated with issues of poverty, incarceration, homelessness, joblessness, and the like. And so, I feel those struggles and those pains as an individual. And I think bringing that into the political sphere is really important in this day and age.
So you essentially had white parents in a predominantly white suburban community, but you had African-American siblings as well?
Yeah, white. Yeah, so we like to call it a multiracial, complex Brady Bunch family. That's what it was. But it was an amazing experience. I'm very closely tied to all of my foster and adoptive siblings, and including my parents as well, Robert and Judy. They really are a special couple.
And you are now a Pitt law professor.
Yes, I'm at the University of Pittsburgh, recently tenured law professor. I teach constitutional law, and in a very short period of time, we've become kind of a national leading expert against the Trump administration and many of the unconstitutional actions his administration have taken over the last 3.5 years or so, submitting testimony to the U.S. Senate on the border wall, but then also doing a lot of work in the Washington Post, informing the American public about just how bad the Trump administration is constitutionally and what this means for our democracy in the coming years.
So why in the world do you want to be a member of Congress?
Yeah. So, I'm a father of a 2.5-year-old. My wife and I and my daughter, we live in Swissvale. We have another daughter on the way. And when you look at this district, it is one of the least livable districts, regions for African-American women. We have some of the worst air quality and pollution throughout the entire United States. Premature deaths, we have high rates of premature deaths because of respiratory diseases. Our communities are being gentrified and displaced due to corporate development coming into the city. And so a lot of our communities are no longer the communities they used to be because people are being pushed out. So there are a lot of issues going on in this district. And I'm of the position that there comes a time for a change in leadership, new leadership to actually address and fight these issues. And right now is the moment to do that, given what we're up against in this country.
Well, let me ask you to get a little bit specific because you are running against a longtime Democratic incumbent,
Sure.
Mike Doyle, who is now the most senior member of the Pennsylvania delegation.
Sure.
Has he just not done the job? What is it that you want to point to when you say you would make a better congressman from this community than he has?
Sure. Congressman Doyle, he's not a bad man. And we're not running an anti-Doyle campaign. Mike's affable. But the question for Mr. Doyle and for this congressional race isn't whether or not he's done something over his 25 years in office. The question is whether he's done enough. And the answer to that question is a resounding no. Least livable regions for African-American women and African Americans, pollution, people in this district, and I've been on the campaign trail for 13 months. I've been into every single borough municipality, Glassport, Ridgeville, McKeesport, Wilkinsburg. I've been in the Pittsburgh neighborhoods of Shadyside and Homewood and the Hill District. And we're meeting people, and we hear over and over and over again, those who are affected by asthma due to pollution, those who are affected by respiratory diseases. People are dying because of this, the displacement problems. So the question becomes not whether he's done something, has he done enough? And so this is where I come in and say, after 25 years, we're ready to take this district to the next level, to address these major issues nationally, but then put this district on the map. People should know about Southwestern Pennsylvania, the 18th Congressional District, and we could use this seat because it's safe blue, heavily Democratic. It'll never go Republican. Now we can use this seat as a bully pulpit to make change on universal health care, on climate change, to address it, and to address pervasive racial disparities in this district. So, it's that moment of time for change, of new guard, and that's why I'm ready to do it, particularly at this stage of my life as a constitutional law professor, as a community advocate and a human rights activist. I'm ready to take on this role right now.
I believe you have said that this area really needs someone like Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. Is that right? AOC.
No, I don't think I've ever said that the Congress, that this district needs someone like that. We are building a brand and a new appeal here in Southwestern Pennsylvania. We're building a progressive movement here in Southwestern Pennsylvania, which is, unique in and of itself. This is a safe blue kind of post-industrial Rust Belt progressive enclave, right? We're a blue island in a sea of red, and that's unique. And we have the opportunity to use that as a bully pulpit, as a megaphone to make transformational change. And we want to bring that to this middle of America district. And when you look at the issues that are ongoing here, many of them are much different than other places in the United States. The pollution problem is extraordinary. The displacement and gentrification problem is extraordinary. And so we want to be able to do that. And the other thing here, and I think this is really important, is corporate money in politics. We want to get that out of politics because that influences congresspersons to do the bidding on behalf of big corporations and not on behalf of the people. And, unfortunately, my opponent takes hundreds of thousands of dollars from fossil fuel industries, the very industries that are destroying our environment. He's taking them from big energy polluters. And you can't be a congressperson in a district like this where the people are suffering because of those industries, while at the same time taking big checks from them. And that's unfortunate. And we want to change that dynamic here in this race.
Well, perhaps I misspoke. I didn't mean to say that you would adopt all the policies of AOC. I know you've used AOC with me before. Basically, I think representative of someone who has put her area on the map because she is so outspoken. And I think that's what you really mean. You feel this area needs someone who puts us on the map?
Yeah, of course, yes. We've seen this across the board in the United States where new congressmen and women have brought in and ushered in transformational change and thinking about new ways and innovative ways for which we can actually attack and address many of the issues that are ongoing in this district. And we have to say, after 25 years, when we still have many of those same issues here permeating in our communities, we have to say, is it time for change? And it is. And I'm excited about this opportunity to do this and to put this district on the map. And really, we want America to know and say, look, what are they doing there in that district? That's very interesting. We could do the same thing. In other words, we want to be the leaders in America. We don't want to be just, the followers at the end of the day.
Yeah. Congressman Doyle says that his seniority has helped to make this region the 5th largest recipient of federal research dollars. He also argues that during the time of pandemic is not the time to change horses, essentially, because he has been there and is doing that. I take it you would dispute that characterization.
Yeah, for sure. What Mr. Doyle won't tell the audience and the voters is that he's only held one chaired position on a committee, and that was in 2019. He received the chaired position for the subcommittee on telecom. That's 25 years of being passed over year after year after year after year. Mr. Doyle will not tell the audience or his voters that he's only passed a handful of bills into law in his 25 years in office. And he also won't tell the voters that he doesn't have one piece of signature legislation to his name during his 25 years. So we have to be wondering to ourselves, after 25 years, is it good enough? and is it enough? And as I mentioned before, the theme isn't whether you've done something, it's whether you've done enough. And the answer is a resounding no.
We only have a couple minutes left, Professor,
Sure.
but let me ask you, how tough is it to campaign when you are really sort of isolated at home, right?
Yeah. So the good thing is we've been on the campaign trail for 13 months. And so 10 and a half months or 11 months before coronavirus hit the United States, I had met thousands of people and heard thousands of stories, knocking doors, sitting inside voters' living rooms, having coffee, sitting on their porch. That's the benefit of having started the campaign so early. So we already built a massive infrastructure of having met so many voters, and I've been everywhere, as I mentioned before, Glassport, Bridgeville, Monroeville, McKeesport, the city of Pittsburgh, meeting thousands of voters. So the good thing is we already set a huge foundation. Now, of course, with the coronavirus, yes, of course, we are not able to do a lot of that door knocking, but we are doing a lot of virtual work. We are actually still reaching out to all the voters who we had met, right? Reminding them about mail-in ballots, reminding them about the actual new date for the election, and that is the essence of having and running a successful and early race, is that we've been able to do all the footwork early on. So we're excited about what we're gonna come up there with on June 2nd.
Final question, Professor. Let me give you the final 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Tell Democrats in the 18th Congressional District why they should vote for you on June 2nd.
Yeah, I think it's time for new leadership and change in this district. We don't just have to be okay and mediocre as we've been under Mr. Doyle for 25 years. Now we can aspire for greatness. We can actually push the envelope and push for big ideas like Medicare for all and the Green New Deal and fix the pollution problem, criminal justice reform, bring affordable housing. We can put this district on the map and take it to the next level. And that's the vision that we have here for this district. And I'm excited to be the next congressman of the 18th Congressional District.
Well, Professor Jerry Dickinson, thank you, sir, very much for spending time with me today. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Hi, I'm John Delano, political editor for KDKA TV. We are with Congressman Mike Doyle, who represents the 18th Congressional District of Pennsylvania.